ultimately responsible for the safety of the crew, the big decisions. You know, I work very closely with Stan Honey, the navigator, on where we position ourselves in the ocean.
It's critical because the navigator and the skipper work together very closely. And then where we overlap and work together is in the tactic area.
The boat break every record in the world that we can, and she's on her way.
Once in the water, Comanche went straight for her competitor.
Wild Oats is the boat to knock off, and we're here for a reason, but there's also 3 or 4 other really good boats in this event that could do the same exact thing. So we just got to go out and sail well and let the chips fall.
The sheer size of it, it looks different to any other boat out there.
The world. You saw what it did off the starting line or what it did down that first run, and we were 30 miles ahead. Broke. We love this boat.
We've had good luck racing in those races and setting the records.
This boat's unique because it's the fastest in the world.
With wind in their sails, the Comanche team set their sights on sailing's most prestigious prize, the transatlantic record.
Stan Honey is a legend in our sport. When you think of all the great navigators, Stan is one of those guys right at the top of the list who comes to mind. The amount of work that he puts into it to make these attempts happen, without him, it wouldn't happen.
So the transatlantic monohull record is probably the most prestigious sailing record of any.
In 1905, the transatlantic record was first set by the schooner Atlantic. It took her 12 days and 4 hours to cross, a benchmark that stood for 100 years. Since then, only 4 boats have improved on her record.
The current project we're setting out to do is to try to set the monohull record for the fastest transatlantic passage. That record is currently set at 6 days, 17 hours by Marischal.
Marischal, as any boat could do, in that tactic where you're going to have to use 2 systems to get across the ocean. So what we were trying to do was to take an entirely different approach, which nobody had ever done before in a monohull, but take a single system all the way across.
You know, he watches the weather just religiously, looking for all these small little things that might happen.
I had access to 11 years of historical weather data. So I routed Comanche every 6 hours for each of the last 11 years from June through November. And what I discovered was that there was only 2 possibilities per year on average where Comanche could stay ahead of a southwesterly storm the whole way across.
You can't take the ocean for granted. This is man against ocean. This is man against the elements. If I've learned anything, you start to just get a little cocky in the ocean and it'll bite you hard.
July 2016. Stan Honey spots a moving low in the westerlies, potentially favorable for an Atlantic crossing. Within a day, the International Comanche team is assembled in New York City, waiting for a green light.
It was kind of a cruel turn of fate that it turned out that the perfect weather had evolved in a time when Kenny couldn't join us.
For Ken, it just came at a period where he had a prior commitment with the America's Cup, but that's the nature of weather.
If Comanche launches, Captain Casey Smith will take the helm as skipper.
Oh, my pants to start with.
But at that point, Kenny knew just how hard it is to find these opportunities and said, okay, well, I can't make it, but you guys got to go.
Be told that, hey, you're going to be the guy in charge. And I was really, really happy to be in that position and trusted like that.
Casey is a sailor, and he was the boat captain, so he's the guy in charge of moving the boat around between events. So nobody knows the boat better than Casey.
Casey in the pit, Nick Dana at the rig.
The transatlantic was a very interesting one for us because we had three false starts. You're waiting for that exact window and you have to be ready at any moment, so your life's pretty much on hold. At this point, we're not that confident that this was actually the one.
We are getting constant information from Stan.
We want to start as close as we can, but ahead of the thunderstorms because of what happens.
It felt like a bit like launch day for NASA, where you're waiting for that exact window and you have to be ready at any moment.
This is the put yourself in harm's way to try to do something that nobody else has ever done before.
And then when we pushed off the dock and started motoring out, that's when it really was like doing it. We're going to go. Amazing. Ambrose light, which gives us enough runway to hit the start line at full speed. We had the sail combination that we wanted to use. We had
5 knots to 30. Doing that jump in such a short amount of time can often put you on your butt.
Ambrose light, full